Most people believe reading another person requires years of experience. They imagine psychologists, detectives, or interrogators possess some mysterious ability to see what others cannot. Machiavelli saw the matter differently. To him, reading people was never a gift. It was a necessity. In a world ruled by ambition, appearances, and hidden motives, survival depended on understanding people before they understood you. Kings were overthrown because they trusted the wrong advisors. Empires collapsed because rulers mistook loyalty for obedience. Friendships ended because people believed words instead of patterns. The greatest mistake you can make is assuming people reveal themselves through what they say. They rarely do. Words are carefully chosen. Behavior is not. A dishonest person can rehearse a convincing story. They cannot rehearse every reaction, every habit, every moment of pressure. Character has a way of escaping. It leaks into the smallest details of everyday life. That is where Machiavelli tells us to look. Most people become fascinated by dramatic moments, arguments, betrayals, grand promises. But these moments are deceptive because people know they are being watched. Instead, observe the ordinary. How someone treats a waiter when there is nothing to gain. How they react when another person receives praise. How quickly they become impatient when things stop going their way. How they behave when no one important is in the room. These moments are not performances. They are habits, and habits reveal character far more accurately than words ever will. The impatient person reveals themselves in traffic. The insecure person cannot celebrate another person's success without comparing it to their own. The arrogant person dismisses opinions before understanding them. The manipulative person gives generously, but only when an audience is watching. Once you begin noticing these repeated patterns, people become surprisingly predictable. This is because human beings rarely act randomly. We are collections of habits. Under pressure, those habits become even more visible. Notice what someone does when plans fall apart. Do they remain composed? Do they blame others immediately? Do they become silent? Or do they become aggressive? Pressure strips away performance. It exposes the person beneath the mask. Machiavelli understood that if you wish to know someone's future actions, you must first understand their present patterns. People change far less than they imagine. The ambitious remain ambitious. The fearful remain fearful. The vain continue seeking admiration. Only the circumstances change. The personalities rarely do. This is why first impressions are often misleading. A charming smile can conceal envy. Confidence can disguise insecurity. Generosity can hide manipulation. But time always exposes what appearances attempt to conceal. The question is not whether people reveal themselves. They always do. The real question is whether you are paying attention. Because once you stop listening only to words and begin observing repeated behavior, you will notice something extraordinary. Most people unknowingly explain exactly who they are long before they ever tell you. And once you learn to recognize those patterns, you begin seeing human nature in a way that very few people ever will. The next step, however, is even more powerful. Because the eyes may attract your attention, but it is emotion that exposes the truth people work hardest to hide. If habits reveal character, emotion reveals intention. Machiavelli understood that people can rehearse their words, refine their appearance, and even imitate confidence. But emotion is far more difficult to control. It arrives before reason has time to intervene. This is why the most revealing moments occur when people are caught off guard. Observe what happens when someone is challenged, not the challenge itself, but the reaction. A secure person does not feel the need to defend every opinion. An insecure one often mistakes disagreement for an attack. The emotionally disciplined remain curious. The emotionally fragile become defensive. In that single moment, you have learned far more than an hour of conversation could ever teach you. The same principle applies to success. Pay close attention to how people react when someone else achieves what they secretly desire. Do they celebrate without hesitation? Or do they immediately minimize the accomplishment? Perhaps they change the subject. Perhaps they offer praise wrapped in subtle criticism. Perhaps they suddenly begin speaking about their own achievements. Envy rarely announces itself openly. It hides behind comparison, and comparison is one of the oldest windows into the human mind. Another lesson Machiavelli would urge you to remember is this: people reveal their priorities through attention. What captures a person's interest repeatedly will eventually reveal what governs their decisions. Listen carefully. Some people cannot stop discussing money. Others constantly seek recognition. Some are obsessed with status. Others speak endlessly about security, revenge, or admiration. Every repeated topic points toward a deeper desire, and every desire can influence future behavior. This is not about becoming suspicious of everyone. It is about becoming observant. There is a profound difference. The suspicious mind invents enemies where none exist. The observant mind simply accepts what people consistently demonstrate. Over time, this habit changes the way you move through the world. You stop being surprised by betrayal because you noticed the warning signs long before it happened. You stop placing blind trust in charming personalities because you understand that charm is often a skill, not a virtue. You stop judging people by isolated moments and begin judging them by consistent patterns. This is where true discernment begins. Machiavelli believed wisdom was not found in knowing many facts. It was found in understanding human nature, because once you understand people, their decisions become less mysterious. Their ambitions become visible, their fears become predictable, their motives become easier to recognize. And perhaps the greatest lesson of all is this: do not become so fascinated with reading others that you forget they are reading you as well. Every expression, every reaction, every emotional impulse, every unnecessary word reveals something about your own character. The wisest person in the room is not merely the one who understands others. It is the one who understands themselves well enough to reveal only what they choose. That was Machiavelli's greatest advantage. He did not simply study power. He studied the people who sought it. Because power changes hands. Fortunes rise and fall. Kingdoms disappear. But human nature remains remarkably constant. Learn to observe it patiently. Question appearances. Trust patterns over promises. And remember that every person carries two identities: the one they present to the world and the one they reveal through their actions. The first can be manufactured, the second never lies.